What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the DMG Tech Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Parkinson, and in this episode, we're going to talk about building a Chrome extension. Now, in this video, I'm not going to really go too much into the exact details of how to do this, but I'm more or less just going to kind of show you where we're going to begin. I will have a link in the description to show you kind of, to get you to this page. But what we're going to kind of do is I'm just going to kind of quickly go over just the overview of it, and then I will start putting a series together where we'll go ahead and build a extension. Now, this is going to be useful for a lot of different things. If you have a personal website, if you have websites that doesn't have one and you just want an easy, click to get to it in the same sense as kind of like a bookmark, this is going to be the way to do that. What's kind of neat about it is you can kind of manipulate it quite a bit. But the way I'm going to show you first is just, you're going to need to know a little bit of coding. The good thing about it is a lot of this is kind of already set up or pre-set up to where you can kind of just copy it and then just change a few things and then add a few things and go on from there. But at least you can get the basics of it done. So as you can see, this is going to be kind of the home page, as you see the get started area. So when you go into it, you're going to have to, as it says, like fiddle with the code a little bit, like I was just saying. And where you're going to be able to do something. So it says, get started example was originally up in here, get started example. But of course, you can manipulate it a little bit where it says like click here. And that's what it's showing you right there, that just the simple, when you hover over something, it says something. So these people are adding this type of information to it and what to do with it. But when you go through this entire documentation, it should kind of give you an example of how to get some stuff together. Depending on how much you know about code, if you even know the basics of probably HTML, you can probably get away with this, making it pretty easy. If you don't know even what HTML is, it might be a little different or a little harder. You should probably know just the basics. That way you can kind of understand of how codes work. For the very, 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 very fundamental side of things. So what, is kind of going here for the example, the things you can kind of do is, here's my bookmarks. So you can call your source files as well. So you're going to need both of those that come together. If you need a page reader, so a call. So what it's doing is reading the page that's currently on there. That's going to be your source files. So as you're going to see, your call is going to be like an action, and your source is going to be kind of the framework to that action. So you can, even though you need to, your action's telling it to do something, you need, the information on telling it how to do it and what to do it and, in the way of doing it. So, there's just very many ways you can do it. Different things you can kind of change up and manipulate to whatever you like to do. So what I recommend, and as you can see, this is a long list that I'll be going through here. And Google's constantly adding more and more features. But it's neat to know. It's nice to play around with. If you have some free time, you are working within the Google Chrome OS atmosphere, or you would enjoy the just the Chrome browser, this might be something you want to kind of look into. I do suspect that it's going to get this is going to get an upgrade here probably in the next year to two. Hopefully when the new next Google I/O comes out in the next couple months, that there will be some new features added on. So, it'll probably be a good idea to go over stuff right now. Even if you're not looking to build an extension, it might help you understand the extensions a little bit later on. So another thing you kind of want to take into note, and you're going to see I'm not even on Chrome OS right now, but you can still go into that. Go into more tools, go to extensions, and if you have the developer mode enabled, this is where you're going to load your extensions or update them and stuff like that. So do take that into consideration as well. So when you are done with it, you'll have a file, and that's where you're going to go ahead and load it into. And remember, when you load an extension on your Chrome browser, that doesn't mean it's going to be available for everybody. You need to submit it to the Google Play Store, the Google Chrome Store, I guess it is. Yeah. And when you're there, that's where you're going to be able to get it checked out, get Google to accept it, and then everybody will have the option of loading it up. And that's what this is, this whole area right here is all about. It's in the same sense as if you were, submitting something to the Android store, Google Play Store on Android devices. And then people will be able to search it, be able to rate it, leave reviews, and all that type of information. So, you're going to have to do quite a bit of stuff. Remember, you do need a nice little image for it, make it appealing for, individuals. That way, you'll get nice little clicks on it. But as far as the back end of it, the UI side of stuff and all that, this is kind of going to be the home of it all. So take that in stride. Don't think you're going to build, if you've never done any of this, don't think you're going to build an extension in 24 hours. I mean, you very well could if you've manipulated with code for a bit, but if you have no idea how to do anything, with coding, if you've never built anything before, even a basic website, this might be a little hard for you in the beginning. But that's not saying it's impossible. Google's always trying to make things a little easier. They want people to build for their platform. That's how they make their money. More user stuff to work with. They make ad revenue and all that. So it's in their best interest to make it as easy as possible. The only thing you're going to have to be careful about is just make sure you build it correctly. You take your time with it. You test it before you try to submit it. That way you don't have a ton of people that complain and, give you a lowball score on your star system. And then you kind of get deemed as, an unworthy developer within the community. You want to be somebody that, takes your time, builds something solid. Even if it takes a week longer than you might expect, it's better to have it right the first time than it is to kind of just half-ass it. Nobody likes to have a half-assed extension, application, or anything. It quickly burns through people where people just don't want to deal with you as a developer. Another thing to keep into consideration is if it's something, of value, you're going to have to keep it updated. Now, you don't have to keep it updated, but it's kind of good etiquette. A lot of developers build stuff and just let it hang for a while. And, it sucks for consumers. The reason is when you are using it as a consumer and it works out really fine, you love it, and then you get accustomed to using it on a daily basis or a weekly basis, whatever it is, and then there might be an update to Chrome OS or something might change on the backside of as far as the Google Chrome browser works, and it might cause your extension or application, depending on what you're building, might not work in the same sense as it originally worked. And that's why these, as far as it's a hobby, which it is for a lot of people, that's not the problem. It's just don't make it for making its sake, just to kind of put that on your resume, like, oh, I built an extension. You want to, be proud of your work, build it nice, build it smooth. So here's, the basic technologies of some of, what you're going to need to do to be able to work with it. And that's what I was saying earlier, that if you've ever built a website, chances are you're going to be familiar with all three of those. Those are the three, most common languages, even though CSS is kind of the backside, or more of the, index, I guess you would call it, of everything, of how to do stuff. So before you get into extensions, if you've never built a website, go get a template, a free template online. Go download some sort of Dreamweaver, or depending on what program you're running, or operating system you're running. Then you can load it up, play with it. You don't have to upload it to the internet. You can kind of see a live preview of what you're working on, and then change it. Try to if you have a normal navigation bar on something, make it a drop down. Learn to center things. Learn to have pop-ups. Learn to have animations on your, change colors, change sizes, put borders, remove borders, shadows, images, videos, audio. There's so many different things you can do on a website, and they just keep getting more and more advanced. So the second you can kind of whip through a website pretty simple, or at least read it and understand exactly how things are working or why they're working, the chances are your experience on an extension is going to be that much smoother. And let's say you've built an extension, or you know how to work on extensions, the chances are you know how to build a website, even if you've never done it before. If you can read those codes, you can read that, a website pretty easy. And, to be honest, these three codes should be as common as the English language, in my opinion, especially with the younger generations. It just, it's like basic algebra nowadays. It's something you should know. The internet is going to become a more prominent thing in people's lives. As every generation grows and every generation is born, they're going to be just more and more attached to the internet in ways that we could never imagine today. So that's pretty much just what I want to talk about when it comes to building an extension. Again, this is just a brief overview of kind of the fundamental understandings of what you should learn first before you kind of dip into the videos that I will be producing here. Hopefully I can get a couple up a week and just kind of walk you through on how to do stuff. I see a lot of people that are bookmarking stuff and doing certain things with their computers, and it's like, an extension might be able to solve that problem really, really fast. So, for example, Push Bullet, the Google Cast I have on here, Screencastify, which is a recorder. These are all extensions, and they're really not that advanced. But another thing I do want to say is, let me see if I can get into this. Let's see if I can find some more information about this real fast. See if I can show you some. I don't know if I can, but I was hoping. Yeah, I can't do everything. But, at least you'll be able to test it out by uploading your extension first before you submit it. Here's also another little developer tool. So I'll have a link to all this stuff as well. This little developer tool is just kind of, basically the same thing. Well, not really the same thing, but it's just, like I was saying, Google is constantly building tools for you to work with. So now here's all my, my apps. Here's, this as well to work with. So all this is pretty much doing is just taken this area and made it as a pop-out, which is available in your Chrome app section. So it's just a quick and easy to access. Maybe you want to go ahead and create a shortcut for it if you're not on Chrome OS. I'll go ahead and add it there. It's created. I'll go into my other. There it is. I can drag it down here, and that way I'll be able to work and manipulate it at all given times, even if I close out my browser. So as you can see, my browser has been closed out completely, but when I click on it, we have something to work with. See if I go ahead and save that window. Yep, perfect. So that's it when I come to this. This is a really, really quick overview. There's just so much details that we're going to get into as far as, just little things. As you saw, that big list of available functions we can put into a Chrome extension. I'm going to be going through a lot of those. We'll start with the most common and work our way out of that. If you do have any questions or maybe something you want to add to this, just at least for the brief overview, I don't want to get too much into detail. So if you have detail, kind of stick around and, subscribe. And when a video comes up that's pertaining to that detail you kind of want to, talk about, leave the comment there. This is, again, just for the very basic fundamentals for those that are looking to get into this that have never done anything before. So as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next video.